My best friend passed away last year and whispered something to me that changed how I live every single day. Let me tell you what she said. Sweet friends, I'm Dorothy. I'm 74, and losing Carolyn last April broke my heart. But it also woke me up more than anything ever has. In her final 3 weeks, we sat for hours every single day and talked about what actually matters. Not money, not houses, not what the neighbors think. We talked about that quiet, steady joy that stays with you even on the bad days. She made me promise I would start doing 13 tiny, stupidly simple things every single day. The exact habits that made her the happiest woman any of us had ever known. I laughed at most of them at first. I thought they were silly. I thought they couldn't possibly matter. I've kept that promise now for 14 months. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, I am happier at 74 than I ever was at 24. Or 34. Or 54. Now here is the thing I need you to hear. Number 13 on this list is the most important one by a mile. It is the one that makes all the other 12 work. And I have never once seen anyone talk about it anywhere. I am going to save it until the very last 30 seconds of this video. Almost all of you will click away 20 seconds early. And you will miss the single thing that will actually change your life. If this sounds like something you need today, hit the subscribe button, grab your mug, and don't you dare click away early. Let's start. Thing 1. Start the day with a peaceful routine. Happy women over 70 do not rush into the morning like they are being chased. They ease in gently. A quiet cup of tea, a prayer, a deep breath, a tidy bed, a few calm minutes before the world starts asking for things. That soft beginning can shape the whole day. Peace in the morning often becomes peace in the spirit. Thing 2. Enjoy fresh air and natural sunlight. They step outside, even if only for a little while. A sunny porch, an open window, a short walk to the mailbox, a sit in the garden. These small moments matter more than people realize. Fresh air clears the mind, and sunlight has a way of reminding the heart that life is still moving beautifully. Thing 3. Stay curious and keep learning. The happiest women never fully retire their curiosity. They still ask questions, read new things, try little skills, and pay attention to the world. They know learning keeps the mind alive. You do not stop growing because your hair turns silver. In many ways, that is when the deeper learning begins. Thing 4. Dress intentionally to feel good about yourself. Not to impress anybody. Not to compete with younger women. Just to feel lovely in your own skin. A bright blouse, a favorite necklace, clean shoes, soft colors, a little care in the mirror. It all sends a message. It says, I am still here and I still matter. Thing 5. Reduce unnecessary complaining. This is not about pretending life is perfect. Life at this age brings aches, losses, worries, and days when the knees argue back. But happy women know that complaining too much drains the joy out of the room. They speak honestly, yes, but they do not let every inconvenience become their identity. Thing 6. Keep your body active. Nothing dramatic, nothing punishing. Just movement. A stroll, some stretching, a little dance in the kitchen, a few steps around the house. The goal is not to look a certain way. The goal is to keep the body feeling invited into the day instead of forgotten. Thing 7. Build meaningful connections with others. A warm call, a neighborly chat, coffee with a friend, a note to someone who's been on your heart. These things nourish the soul. Loneliness shrinks when connection grows. The happiest women over 70 do not wait for life to bring friendship to their doorstep. They reach out, gently and often. Thing 8. Make mindful choices about what you eat. Happy women do not punish themselves with food rules every minute of the day. They simply choose with care. They know what helps them feel steady, light, and well. A nourishing meal, enough water, a treat with joy instead of guilt. That kind of balance brings more peace than strictness ever could. Thing 9. Feed your mind and spirit. A good book, an uplifting podcast, beautiful music, scripture, silence, a magazine, a conversation that leaves you thinking. All of it counts. A woman's inner life matters. When the mind and spirit are fed regularly, the whole person grows stronger, softer, and more settled. Thing 10. Practice letting go and forgiving. This one takes time. sometimes a lot of time. But the happiest older women know that carrying old hurts is exhausting. They do not excuse everything, and they do not forget what shaped them, but they stop dragging yesterday into every new morning. Forgiveness is not always loud. Sometimes it is simply peace. Thing 11. Make room for joy and laughter. They laugh at the silly things, the little mishaps, the memory slips, the family stories told 100 times. They let joy in even when the house is not perfect or the day did not go as planned. A cheerful heart is not childish. It is powerful. It makes ordinary life feel lighter. Thing 12. Close the day with appreciation and gratitude. Before sleep, they take a moment to notice what was good. The warm meal, the safe trip, the phone call, the sunshine, the nap, the kind cashier, the strength to keep going. Gratitude is a soft blanket for the mind. It helps the heart rest instead of replaying every worry. Thing 13. Keep something beautiful to look forward to. This one matters more than people think. It might be a visit, a favorite dessert, a church gathering, a new book, a haircut, a show, a lunch date, or simply sitting in the sunshine tomorrow morning. Having something pleasant ahead gives the day a little sparkle. Hope is a lovely habit. Now, sweetheart, let me tell you why these things matter so much. When people picture happiness after 70, they often imagine it as something that just happens to certain women. As if some ladies were born with lucky hearts and others were not. But that is not really how it works. The happiest women I know have not had the easiest lives. Some of them have buried husbands, raised difficult children, nursed sick relatives, survived grief, money worries, loneliness, and more than one season of feeling forgotten. And yet they still glow. That glow does not come from having a perfect life. It comes from practicing a life that feels kind. Gentle routines, gentle words, gentle choices. That is what changes everything. And that is why these 13 habits are so powerful. They are not grand or flashy, and that is exactly the point. At this age, most of us have already learned that fancy does not equal happy. A peaceful morning can do more for your spirit than 100 expensive distractions. A few minutes of sunlight can lift your mood more than another hour of worry. A kind word to yourself can soften a whole day that started out stiff and sore. By the time a woman reaches her 70s, she has usually earned the right to stop performing. No more pretending to be endlessly cheerful for everybody else. No more dressing, speaking, or living for the approval of people who are not paying her bills or living her life. Happy women over 70 begin to understand that freedom is not loud. Sometimes it is quiet. It looks like saying no without guilt. It looks like resting when the body asks for rest. It looks like choosing the sweater that feels good instead of the one that tries to make you look 20 years younger. It looks like being fully present in the life you actually have. And listen, dear heart, there is something deeply beautiful about that. Because so many older women spent decades being useful to everyone. They were the helpers, the fixers, the ones who packed the lunches, remembered the birthdays, held the family together, and kept going when they were exhausted. They carried people through illness, heartbreak, divorce, bills, and long, lonely years. Then one day they wake up and realize they have been caring for everyone except themselves. That is where these habits come in. They are not selfish. They are a return to peace, a return to self-respect, a return to small joys, a return to living in a way that does not demand perfection before it allows happiness. And let me tell you something else. The happiest women over 70 are not always the healthiest, richest, or most glamorous. They are the ones who have learned how to make a day feel good from the inside. They know that a clean shirt, a glass of water, a short walk, a good conversation, and a little forgiveness can do wonders. They know that laughter helps the body. They know that complaining too much can make every problem heavier. They know that the mind must be fed just like the body. They know that if you leave your spirit untouched for too long, it starts to ache. That is why learning stays important. That is why curiosity matters. That is why sunlight matters. That is why dressing with care matters. These are not vanity habits. They are dignity habits. They say, I am still engaged with life. I am still enjoying life. I am still worth showing up for. And if you are watching this and thinking, well, I'm not cheerful every day. Let me gently say this. Neither is anyone else. Happiness is not pretending. Happiness is learning how to return to yourself faster. It is learning how to stop one hard moment from becoming a hard day and one hard day from becoming a hard life. It is learning how to breathe, adjust, forgive, laugh, and begin again. You do not need to do all 13 things perfectly tomorrow.
Goodness, no.
Start with one. Just one. Open the curtains.
Take the walk.
Call a friend. Put on the pretty earrings. Drink the water. Pick up the book. Sit in the sunshine. Choose peace before the news. Any one of these can become a doorway back to yourself. And if you are younger and watching, please take this as a gift. These habits are not only for older women. They are the foundations of a joyful life at any age. The women who age well are often the women who began caring for their minds, bodies, relationships, and spirits long before they had to. They built a life that could hold happiness because they practiced small kindnesses along the way. But if you are already over 70, then hear this from a cheerful old woman who means it with all her heart. It is not too late. Not too late to become calmer. Not too late to smile more. Not too late to learn something new. Not too late to forgive. Not too late to laugh again. Not too late to feel beautiful in your own way. Not too late to enjoy your mornings, your meals, your memories, and your quiet little moments that nobody else may even notice, but that make your life feel like yours. That, my dear, is the real secret behind happy women over 70. They stop waiting for happiness to arrive as some big dramatic event. They build it gently. They protect it daily. They make room for it in small, ordinary ways. And before long, those small choices become a beautiful way of living. So if one thing in this video touched you, do not let it pass by as just a sweet thought. Let it stay. Let it matter. Let it become your beginning. And now I would truly love to hear from you. Which of these 13 habits already feels like you, and which one do you want to start today? Tell me in the comments, because I read them and I love hearing from you. And if this video warmed your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with me, because we have so much more wisdom, laughter, and beautiful living to share together.